So I got a fantastic present in the mail from you the other day, and it's probably 2 weeks ago. We were talking now, and I said, Danielle, I think warm bundles is fantastic, but I need a toque. And we had a conversation, and you had no idea what a toque was. So what do you call one of these?
So I call them toques, or I call them ski hats.
Ski hats.
And they kind of look like fun little pineapples. It's a fun design of my own. I had never actually made one, pretty one at least, until Calvin asked me about making him a hat. So I'm very excited that I got to expand my Etsy store into beautiful Canada, and
Nice.
Calvin is my first international customer.
It's pretty amazing. So we were just chatting a bit before that we actually met on LinkedIn. It's probably back in November or so, and made this connection happen. And through, I guess, just multiple likes of each other's posts, ended up on actually Skype talking to each other one morning, and it's coming to this. How would you say, how open are you to connecting with people online? What do you feel about the online connection world and networking in general with, I guess, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever it may be?
Well, I love connecting with people generally, and we do live in the age of tech, so connecting with people online is common for our age. And for this decade that we're in, things will progressively move more online, which is very exciting. I love connecting with people, whether it be LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, all the basics. I think everyone has something very cool and unique to share. So when you connect with someone and meet them and you guys have something in common, like Calvin and I, we both like to blog, and Calvin's got some great articles. You should totally check him out if you're watching this video. He's on LinkedIn. Connect with Calvin. He's really easy to talk to, and we both enjoy connecting with like-minded people who are on a mission to become something greater than themselves. What would you say, Calvin?
Nice. I think that's fantastic. Networking is one of the strongest skills I believe we can have. Earlier in the year, I had a bit of a realization where I had a certain number of problems in my life, and it seemed that the more people I knew, the more they started disappearing. So that's where I really gravitated towards networking. And for myself, I always say that the more people you know, the fewer problems you will have. And there's an aspect of you really have to be helping others to have the help come back in return. So I think it's fantastic how you're making these, and it keeps me warm. And you also sent me a fantastic scarf too. I actually wear this every day, and I also wore it shooting the promo video for my book. So it's pretty exciting that it'll actually come out this weekend or early next week. So keep an eye for it there. When did you get into knitting?
Well, it all started when I was a postgraduate of a really awesome college, and I couldn't get a job.
That's awesome.
I was actually moved back in with my parents, and my mom is like, well, you should probably find something to do. So she sent me a message on Facebook for a link of how to knit, and I just instantly loved knitting. And since she sent me that link, it was actually arm knitting, which is knitting like poofy scarves. I made a ton of them, gifted them to all my friends for Christmas, and it just caught on fire, and I loved it. And now I'm making hats, so it's a lot of fun.
That is awesome. So I have one question that popped immediately to mind. Were you in the house when your mom Facebook messaged you?
I was actually. I was in the basement.
Nice. You're like, yes, Mom, I'm finding
in my old room.
Oh, yeah. God, that's awesome. Yeah, huge fan of it, and lots of people like it up here. I'm talking a little bit, I guess, moving into now Millennial Movement. So tell me a bit about that. Big Facebook group online, when you started, how many people are in it, I guess your proudest moment of having it, because it's a fantastic group and it's something you should be very proud about.
Well, thank you, Calvin. So we are a generation, if you're Calvin and I's generation, you're in the millennial age group. The generation after us, baby boomers, is much more of a wild beast than us millennials, so get ready. I basically started Millennial Movement, which is an online group to promote entrepreneurs and creative minds and people aspiring to become something more than themselves. I started it based off of Ty Lopez's Facebook group, the 67 Steps, and slowly started attracting people that are like-minded. And it's about three and a half, almost 4 months running, and there's almost 700 people on there. The internet's amazing. For all you viewers out there watching, if you want to start a group, whether it be a group for gamers, a group for not gaming, a group for knitting, just start it on Facebook, start a group. People are going to love what you have, and everyone's got a certain talent. And it's just to kind of support people and let them know, hey, like, we're all trying to figure out our lives, and we're going to do amazing things, whether it be starting a knitting business, whether it be starting a coaching and writing books and becoming an author business. And it's just good to be around like-minded people because it helps us all.
Nice. That's awesome. So in 3 to 4 months, I think that's absolutely fantastic. New to Facebook, and one of my big hesitations was, do I start a group? Do I not? So hearing from yourself, what was really the moment where, you're like, you know what? I just need to make this happen. Forget about everything else. I guess what was going through your head at that point in time? Did you have any fears about it?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
So every time I try to step outside the box, I always have a little voice in my ear saying, well, no, you're not going to be good at that, so you might as well not even try. I think a lot of people come across this. We're scared of judgment. We're scared that we're going to fail, which failure is okay. It's okay to fail. Fail fast, because then you find out what works and what doesn't. So I would say if you want to try something new, put yourself out there, and people will judge, and that's just fine, but you just got to believe in yourself. Look at all the famous people, successful people. Look at, per se, famous rapper Eminem. Do you know how many people don't like him? Do you know how many people love him? No matter what you're going to do, you're going to have both sides of the fence, but you just have to do what you want to do, and do what makes you happy, even if people judge you. You got to do what you got to do. Nice.
That's awesome. I was, as you know, I'm big about blogging, so I wrote something this weekend, and I'm always looking for critical advice, and I sent it out to a group. And the first comment I got back was, you had 2 grammatical errors within your first sentence. You should really watch out for that sort of thing, or else you'll lose readers. And I read that, and that was honestly the only bad comment I've had in a while. And I look for that sort of stuff. And it was really tough to take that constructively. There's probably 25 other people out there saying great job, but I found it was really easy to get hung up on that fact, even though I was looking for it. Do you have any advice for yourself, whether you get a negative comment or something come up, how you can cope with that or deal with that?
Oh, yeah. So I like to reference another very successful person. This woman you and I both know, and to all the viewers out there, you probably know her too if you're watching this on YouTube. Jenna Marbles.
Nice.
She had a video where she just read all the negative comments, and she laughed, and she said, you know what, people are just going to say what they want, but you just have to do what you do. And, she was confident about it. I feel like a good way to kind of break the ice of not feeling bad about someone saying something bad about you is just know that, you're on your journey and they're on theirs, and you just got to brush it off, brush it off. Don't let it get to you, and, just like reflect it, like let it just bounce right off of you. Avoid negative people at all costs, and go straight to the people who energize you and are positive. What would you say, Calvin? Positive people over negative people?
Yeah, absolutely. Positive people over negative people. And it's actually funny. The article is actually writing on how you should worry about what you can do and really what no one else can really validate what you're doing. And in writing in a bunch of reading lately, really focuses on that. But it's so easy as just a human to really get caught up on that stuff. But one of the biggest things to be able to do is recognize that you are doing the right thing and you are focusing on you. And like you said off the bat, there's always going to be people that love you and there's going to be people that hate you. So really focusing on what you can do and really bringing that tribe or the community together is pretty fantastic. You mentioned Jenna Marbles, Eminem. Who other idols are in there? Do you have a favorite book maybe you could reference, share?
Oh, well, I do like Grant Cardone.
Nice.
He is a very, very smart real estate guy. He came from the bottom, grew up with nothing, and he's a self-made millionaire. And quick reference to the Millionaire Next Door book. I actually have it right here.
Nice. Write that down.
80% of millionaires are self-made.
Nice.
So this is actually a great statistic. It only says that 20% of people actually inherit it, which is quite a low percentage to the other 80%. And looking at Grant Cardone, it's my bookshelf here.
That's awesome. Perfect.
Right here.
Nice.
I like this because he's so straightforward, and he talks about no matter, like, even if you're in sales or not, you need to sell the idea of going to a certain movie with your mom for Mother's Day. Mom, you're gonna like this movie, trust me. Talks about the art of persuasion, and if you're in any sort of business, you're in the people business. So I definitely look up to Grant Cardone. He's a very straightforward man, and it's good to have idols and people to look up to. How about you, Calvin? Who are some of your favorite mentors, authors, people you look up to?
Nice. So I'm a huge fan of behavioral psychologists, mostly from the fact that I find it very tough to really converse with people. A lot of the time, individuals will think I'm a natural at it, but it's taken a ton of work. So I really like focusing on those books. And Danielle E is one who can really break down really complicated principles into things we can really relate to in our day, and gives a really solid understanding of why we have those vices in our head and really how to work against them. Another real great read of mine, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is a pretty big classic. So always like to tell people to start there.
So that's a great book. Dale Carnegie is a very smart man, was a very smart man.
Yeah.
And has some great books.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So another question, advice you would give yourself 3 years ago that you could go back and talk to yourself today, what would you say?
Well, I would probably say don't party too much. And I'd probably give myself a hug because, when you're younger, you're so afraid of a lot of things, and your confidence, it may not be the best. And if I could, I would just hug myself and tell myself 3 years ago that everything is going to work out. Just think positive and start knitting. How about you, Calvin?
That's amazing. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Talked to a lot of people about that, and that's one of the most real responses ever got, for sure. 3 years ago, I would be obviously being younger in life. There's a lot of pushes and pulls every single direction, but really just to focus on people and bettering myself. It's really easy, as we've mentioned a bit today, to get pulled all over the place, but really just focusing on what we can do, and no different than you creating a toque, really doing your own things, is to stop expecting things, expecting to make a lot of money, expecting a new title at work, expecting a nicer car, turning off my phone that's vibrating, and really focusing on actually creating things or creating value for the world instead of actually expecting it. I find it can be absolutely confusing, and it's something I've struggled with for a lot of the time, of really changing that expectation mindset into I should have this, I want this, into really what I can create and in turn of providing value, I find value comes back at you tenfold. And that's a number I completely made up, but comes back a lot of the time. So yeah, that'd be advice I'd give myself. How about 3 years going forward? What would you say?
Well, I would say I hope I accomplished all my goals that I wanted to.
Nice.
I don't know. I just hope that I aspire to be all the great things that I hope for, or at least I'm en route, and hope that I keep my positive thinking on track, which
Nice.
you should always feel positive about the future. I hope to have some more creative knitting things that I've made. Hope for good friendships, and just to love life. Life is so good, and I would just hope that my future self still looks at the glass half full and half empty, and not twice as big as it needs to be.
That was awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, the best way to create the future or predict it is to make it,
Nice.
whether it be writing down sticky notes and whatnot. And even if you don't know where to kind of start, just my desk is a little organized / messy. Yes,
Sticky notes are awesome.
Like Calvin and I, if you're an entrepreneur, you should probably also invest in sticky notes, because they're gonna overtake your wall, and it's just you'll have them, you'll stick them up there. If you get a goal done, then you'll take it down. Sticky notes are great. What do you think, Calvin?
Oh yeah, sticky notes are everywhere. Honestly, I don't have to look too far. Here's another one over here. They're great for reminders, and actually a place where I really like them is on my door before leaving, so I can really soak it all in. And a lot of the time when people are in here too, I'll leave a couple blank ones up there so they can write their own inspiring note up there, which in turn brings the inspiration back. So yeah, absolutely love sticky notes. They're fantastic, and everyone needs to go out and buy a whole bunch. Also, this toque is fantastic. When you talk about your creative knitting, I think the half and half toque is absolutely beautiful. Where did you get the inspiration for that one? And it's warm.
Well, one day I was only cold right here. Oh,
nice.
My mom actually. My mom wanted me to make her one, so I did, because I do what my mom tells me to half the time.
Nice.
The other half, I don't.
Bit of a symbolism in there as well.
Yeah. So I made her one, and she just wanted a cute one that wouldn't mess all her hair up, just a little bit, so she could keep her ears warm. And I had never heard of the word toque before. I didn't know that toque was cool Canadian slang.
I wouldn't even know what else to call it. So it's a beanie or like a head thing. I don't even know what to call it other than toque.
Yeah, beanie, ski hat, hat.
Yeah, ski hat.
But you learn something new every day, and it's good to make connections.
Yeah.
International connections.
Crazy.
And you learn cool stuff like what a toque is, because I did not know what a toque was. So, yeah. I
know, and I never knew there was anything other than a toque, so it was absolutely perfect. So I have 2 big questions left for you. 2 massive questions. What would your mission in life be?
Okay, so I will reflect on a good book by Wallace D. Wattles. And I know some people are not going to agree with me here, but it's titled The Science of Getting Rich. And I also reference that book a lot in my blogs, because it's a very old book, but it stood the test of time. A lot of people still read it. If you like audiobooks, they also have it on YouTube. And its main principle says the best thing you can do for the world is to become wealthy, because then you can help more people. You can create a company that has jobs for people. You can add value to people's lives versus chilling on the couch. So I believe that is my main mission, and I want to help people along the way.
That's fantastic. I think that's awesome. Beautiful. So one more last question. I'm big on my happiness and adding smiles to my life, as you know. So I just created this massive weapon of happiness, and I just handed it over to you. What does it look like, and what does it shoot?
The eyes of a smile. I am so excited for your book.
Nice. Just shoots books.
Well, YouTubers watching out there and other people on the channel, if you are checking out this video, Calvin is writing a book called The Eyes of a Smile, and this is one of the most interesting things I've come across, because people, they do smile with their eyes. And Calvin is spreading happiness to people, and he's an author, and he's motivating people. And if you haven't yet, you should subscribe to Calvin, because he's got a lot of great content. He's got a lot of good videos, and this man is on a mission. If you want a mentor to follow that is on point, you should connect with Calvin, because he's so positive. He's got a lot of good feedback for you. He's got things online that you can read about. His blogs are very inspiring, and The Eyes of Smile. I mean, wouldn't you want to check that out?
Yeah. Sounds awesome, but it also sounds a bit scary shooting books, watching out for paper cuts. But as long as everyone has a healthy supply of Band-Aids, that was awesome. Thank you for the warm bundles off of Etsy, as well as you were the reason I got back to Facebook, was to check out the Millennial Movement. Fantastic group of people. And I can't wait to see what comes out of this wonderful relationship.
Me too. You should connect with both of us YouTube watchers, because we're on a path, and we'd love to take you with us.
High five.